Highly disappointed and disturbed in my outfit today. I'm going to lose the swag war to Emmanuel Acho.
Look, I had you against the ropes, bro. I'm trying to go for the kill shot.
But you went international on me, Bond.
I had to go to Milan for this one. So.
Manchester and Florence, y'all. All right, we're here for the next 2 hours, so let's get it started with the Chiefs, who show why they're the defending Super Bowl champions with a dominant performance against the Ravens last night. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdown passes and added a rushing touchdown. On the other hand, the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson threw for a career-low 97 yards. He's now 0-3 against Mahomes as Chiefs, calling them, quote, our kryptonite. KC has now won 12 straight games going back to last season. So, Acho, think the Chiefs will actually go undefeated this season?
Man, I hate to say this, but I do. Ain't nobody gonna stop the Chiefs. But let me start with last night's game. Okay. The Ravens were by far a top 5 team in the National Football League.
Oh, yeah.
You can still go and say that the Ravens are a top 5 team in the National Football League. And the Chiefs just undressed the Baltimore Ravens on national television, Marcellus. Think about this. Lamar Jackson had his lowest offensive output ever as a starter. Where they do that at? Like his lowest output ever. And then you see Patrick Mahomes out here counting not how many touchdowns he scored. That was a misconception. He was counting the fact that the NFL ranked him the 4th most talented player behind Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and the likes of Aaron Donald. So now this madman's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Nobody's going to be able to stop the Chiefs, and here is why. They are so much better than everybody else.
Okay.
As a former player, I hear sometimes journalists say, oh, this team or that team will go undefeated. And I'm like, that's outlandish. You not realize all it takes is one bad game? That's all it takes. One bad game to keep you from going undefeated.
Now you're in my lane.
Unless you're that much better than everyone else. I go back to 2015. Usain Bolt, the fastest man that has ever lived, and it is not close.
Don't tell me he stumbled out the blocks again.
I am.
I love you.
I am. Because he stumbles out the blocks.
Oh, he did?
Oh, he did. And he still, of course you didn't. You don't hear 9. And he still wins because he's that much better than everybody else. Here's what I will say on my first lap, Marcellus.
All right.
The Kansas City Chiefs are so much better than everybody else that there are about 15 teams in the league that even if they play poor against, they'll still win. Then there are about another 14 teams, 13 teams that they have to play good against to beat. That's the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
And then there are about 3 or 4 teams, the other 3 or 4, that they need to play really well to beat. So I'm telling you, on any given Sunday, Marcella, the Chiefs can play average to below average and still win, like they did against the Chargers 7-8 days ago. And then yesterday, if they play well, they're still going to dismantle a good team. Chiefs go undefeated. I don't see how a team will stop them. And in my second lap, I'm going to tell you exactly why.
Man, amazing argument, for real. It floated around in this universe. You got some followers, some likes, some clicks. People was like, yeah, I believe in Acho. And then it came crashing down to reality.
How?
I'm older than you, Acho.
You are.
I was born in 1974, big dog. But you know what's funny? I don't even remember the last team that went undefeated. Oh, you know why? Because it happened before I was born. The 1972 Miami Dolphins.
We're going to ignore the Patriots? Those are the Patriots?
How did that end?
We're going to regular season. So see,
here we go. I told you that take. Here we go. That take.
I have hair, so I can split them. I have hair, so I can split them. I need you to start splitting these hairs.
Let's do this. And that's the funny thing. My daddy's talking about the 72 Dolphins. Daddy, why you like Mercury Morris? You all understand he's the last guy to be perfect.
What's up,
It's not going to happen. Even if you want to go regular season, I can stay with you. You can say the Patriots, even though their goal is not to be regular season champs.
Of course not.
Let's talk about this season. Let's talk about what's going to happen to the Kansas City Chiefs. Mark Twain said it best. Life is a competition between you and yourself. Wileyism. Oh, my God. Who's going to stop them? They're so much better. They're Usain Bolt stumbling out the block, still winning. You know what? Last year, we saw this stacked team. Last year, there were people like you, sizzling hot takes. Oh, they may run the table. This year, it's the dynasty, but last year it was run the table. And what happened? Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
Of course.
Injuries happened. They lost 4 games last year. What happened the year before when we didn't really see them coming? But they had an MVP performance from Patrick Mahomes. They still lost 4 games. The point of this is, no matter how you want to look at this team in terms of its architecture and its greatness, something's going to happen. Let me give you 4 more things that may happen.
Go ahead.
You got to play New England Patriots this week. Tampa Bay is on the horizon. New Orleans, Buffalo, the Chargers, last game of the season in the division with a peppered up, seasoned up Justin Herbert in the building. They almost beat them, took them to overtime when Justin Herbert got Hey, excuse me, you're starting. Hey, Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, oh my God.
Coach didn't even know his name right there. He was like, damn. Tyrod hurt. Hey, come here, man. You in the lineup. My point is this. I am going to go with the field. I am not betting against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs as much as I'm betting for the field.
Okay.
Something, injuries, another team. And the most important thing when you're talking about football, and we all know this, the only thing that is certain is uncertainty. You got to go out there and deal with something, and something's going to pop up. Maybe a team I didn't even list going to show up and beat the Chiefs.
I have 3 issues with what you just said. 3?
Damn, I ain't
The first is you can't claim a Wileyism if Mark Twain said it. You can't do that. That is cheating.
Do not take my money away from me. I do not have Oprah.
That's my first issue. That's my first issue.
I've been doing that for years.
But let me get back to the point.
All right.
This Chiefs team hasn't lost a game in 14 games with the healthy Patrick Mahomes.
I'll give you that.
I mean, like, dating back, the Chiefs lost to the Tennessee Titans 35-32. The game Patrick Mahomes came back last year, he was hobbled.
Okay.
And they lost to the Packers with Matt Moore starting. Outside of that, they haven't lost since October 13th of 2019 to the Houston Texans with the healthy Patrick Mahomes. So let me just put that in perspective for you. Secondly, let me dismantle your argument by this. The Chiefs are actually insulated from injury. Now, nobody's insulated from a Patrick Mahomes injury. You're not insulated from a Patrick Mahomes injury, no.
Oh, that happened last year.
But here's what I'm saying.
You know that.
If you lose Mecole Hardman, you still have Sammy Watkins.
Exactly.
If you lose Tyreek Hill, you still have Mecole Hardman and Sammy Watkins. If you lose Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill, you still have Travis Kelce. Like, to a degree, they're still insulated. Oh, and by the way, they have first-round picks catching touchdowns by the name of Eric Fisher. The first-round pick to catch a touchdown since Keyshawn Johnson, who was drafted in 96. Not first-round pick, first number 1 overall pick. Excuse me. The Chiefs are insulated. But here's the biggest point, Marcellus, because, again, past success, it is an indicator of future success.
So they're going to go 12-4 again?
No.
Because they went 12-4 the last 2 years.
Past success. Let's talk about 2007, the New England Patriots. That's the last team we saw that was undefeated in the regular season. Tom Brady, he won MVP, but he had 3 terrible games. 3 terrible games. Week 13, he plays poorly against the Jets.
Okay.
He plays poorly week 13, he plays terribly against the Ravens, actually.
Let me know.
But they still win. Why? The Ravens were 5-11 that year. A terrible team. He plays terrible again against the Jets, week 15. But the Jets were 4-12 that year. A terrible team. Then he plays terrible interdivision against the Dolphins. Should have lost. But the Dolphins were 1-15 that year. A terrible team. I say that to say this. You're right.
I know I was right. Why are we doing all this talking?
You're right.
We could have moved on.
Patrick Mahomes is going to play bad eventually. He might even play bad against the Chargers at the end of the season like he did last week. But they're still going to win even when Mahomes plays bad. The Ravens are a top 5 team that didn't even look like they belonged on the same field as the Chiefs.
That's real.
The Chargers, a bottom-tier team, made Mahomes play bad, and they still won. Mahomes has to. Here's the last thing I will say. Here's the last thing I will say in agreeing with you, but still defeating you.
I love this argument.
The Chiefs have to play 3 more tough games this season. The Patriots, the Bills, before it gets cold in Buffalo, and you know better than I the difference that is. They got to play the Bills only in 3 weeks before it gets cold. The Patriots, the Bills, and lastly, they got to play the Buccaneers at the end of the season.
Oh, New Orleans?
Towards the end of the season.
No love for New Orleans no more.
Not right now. I'm going to tell you about that later. But Drew Brees knew the Saints was my Super Bowl pick.
I was about to say.
But I'm going to go ahead and I'm jumping off that bandwagon and that cliff on the Saints.
I know which Acho I'm dealing with.
We're going to get to that later. They got to play 3 to 4 more tough games this season. All I need, Patrick Mahomes, he needs an A effort 3 to 4 more times. It's over and done with.
But you got to understand that your measurement of what a good team is not just based on record. There's a good team out there that they're going to smash, like the Baltimore Ravens. And then there's a bad team that they're going to play down to, like you say, the LA Chargers. And it's going to take an overtime heroic effort to win. Maybe you won't be so lucky going forward. That's what I'm saying. I'm coming more from the wisdom angle, the coaches speak angle. Like, we can't take any of these for granted. Yeah, they're like every other player. When you get the schedule, you circle who you know you're going to beat, and then you kind of highlight the ones you're going to have to work for. But this is the problem. The last 2 years, I can say, but certainly last year, they were in the same mindset. Yo, let's go run this. Because the universe has different plans for whatever your greatness is.
But let me ask you this. I don't know if we've seen a team like the Chiefs be this much better than the majority of the teams. Typically in the
How do
NFL,
you measure that, though?
let me say this.
Okay.
Typically in the NFL, Marcellus, and this is we kind of have to transcend statistics right now. Typically, I would say you're going to see about 10 good football teams.
Okay.
I don't know if we have that this year. Here's what I mean. We have the Packers. We have the Bills. We still have the Ravens. We got the Chiefs. We kind of got the Steelers. We got the Titans. But, like, we got about 7 to 8 dogs.
Yeah.
We got about 7 to 8. And when I look at the Chiefs, I'm like, they just that much better than the competition. Okay. They were as good as they were last year, didn't really lose anybody. Let me give you this statistic to really drive this point home.
You just told me we transcended statistics.
But I'm going to drive it home with this one.
We're coming back
Patrick Mahomes, 24-1 in games where his team allows 28 points or fewer. 24-1. Oh, you know how much rope I'm giving you?
Yeah.
As a defender. You were a defender, I was a defender. If my quarterback comes out and says, hey, bruh, y'all just allow 28, and we gonna get a dub. You know how much leeway that is? Offenses haven't had that much leeway before. Chiefs have the number 4 scoring offense, number 6 scoring defense. I think they're head and shoulders above the competition. That's why it's a done deal for me. Them going under.
Look, I love what you're saying, and I'm glad you came back to statistics because anything else we're leaving a reality. It's absurd. It's not empirical. We need to be respectful of the teams that are gelling, the teams that are coming. That Tampa Bay game, I think you're looking at it a little too lightly. I think you're like, that's going to be a tough challenge, but they're in their 3rd week, and they're already leading a division that they've had a chokehold on when you're talking about the New Orleans Saints. Now, all of a sudden, Tampa Bay, learning on the fly, becoming something special. Buffalo, what the hell is Buffalo? I say good to great, and I don't know what they're going to be once they face the Chiefs. The Chiefs' biggest issue is going to be what's been their issue this season so far. Not complacency, but let's play to the level. Let's play to the level of what we think they are. So Houston, they come out, smashed them. That was easy work, right? 34-20. Then they play the Chargers, and for some reason, they're like, the Chargers ain't going to be that fresh. Tyrod Taylor, come on, man. You know what he going to do. Put up 17 points, and we going to beat them. Justin Herbert comes in, wild card, maybe not expecting it, but that was an overtime win. And now we get into the Baltimore Ravens, which is this grudge match, rivalry of 2 quarterbacks who are watching each other play, not playing against each other, but it has so much anticipation and expectation. They smashed them dudes. Could there be a letdown next week? Oh, a letdown against the Patriots. How would that fare for a team, no matter how great they are in talent and ability? To me, I'm looking at the situation where it's really difficult to map out who's going to be good, who's going to be great, and who's going to be properly motivated going forward. Coming up at the top of the hour, Lamar Jackson called the Chiefs his kryptonite. Ooh, so that's calling himself Superman. We'll tell you if he got exposed against KC. But first, Patrick Mahomes shined last night. But is he better than MVP front runner Russell Wilkins? Are we still going with that? Russell Wilkins, we'll tell you who's better at quarterback. Next, speak for yourself.
Talk about 2 of the top QBs in the game. That's Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. Mahomes put his name in the MVP hat last night with 5 total touchdowns. But over in Seattle, Russell Wilson has been on fire for the undefeated Seahawks and just broke Mahomes' record for the most touchdown passes through the first 3 games of a season with 14. Marcellus, who's the better quarterback right now?
Right now?
Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson.
You said his name first. You always give this up. Freudian slips by you. Patrick Mahomes. I understand. And I'm going to give you this because I don't want to be one of those argumentative shows up there. We didn't even hear and listen to each other. Russell Wilson right now is playing better, but Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. 2 + 2 is 4. I get you, Marcellus. Here's the thing. We're talking about, we know who he is, Super Bowl MVP. We know he is Super Bowl champion. We already know he is league MVP. But who is he also? A guy who's never lost a game by more than 7 points. Who is he also? A guy when you put the challenge in front of him, like we saw last night, not only does he defeat that challenge, but he leaves that challenger defeated. Now, Russell Wilson is different. Russell Wilson balling out of control. MVP frontrunner. Again, here we go. Dangerous. Let Russ cook. You know who been cooking since they hit the field? You ain't got to have no hashtags for Patrick Mahomes. Cooking from hello. Cooking from day one. Dangerous is still letting these teams hang around. And I know he doesn't play defense. But as great as he is, the other team doesn't feel defeated. The other team, if it's Dallas Cowboys, other team, if it's the New England Patriots, are still sitting there with 10 seconds remaining, 6 seconds remaining. We can still win this game against the great Russell Wilson, but there's something greater. Something that's the kryptonite, as Lamar Jackson says, and that's Patrick Mahomes. I can kill you with the stats, but let my story tell you that first. Patrick Mahomes, when he hits the field, Coach used to say, it's already 14 up there. You don't see it yet, the score. I know it says 0-0. Trust me, Wiley, it's 14 up there already.
Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning. So you tell me a story.
And Tom Brady, because he already got the championship. Okay. He got it a blend. Oh, this is a hybrid, a new. So the point of it is, Russell Wilson, amazing start. Again, you did this last year. But who's the better player, the better quarterback? Not a conversation unless you don't have television.
Marcellus, the answer is Russell Wilson, but let's have some fun.
I knew we were going to do this.
Marcellus, how much is a slam dunk worth in basketball? How many points?
2, maybe 3, depends on if it's an and one.
Okay. How many points is a layup worth in basketball?
2, maybe 3 if it's an and one.
Right. So the flash doesn't matter. The end result is what matters.
Oh, let's go here.
Okay.
My lane.
You can't say that Russell Wilson, who is a top 2 quarterback, regardless of time of year, time of day.
Yeah, he's 2.
If he is playing better, while he is a top 2 quarterback, depending on the time of day. If he's currently outplaying the number 1 quarterback, he's the number 1 quarterback.
Wow, that's how you do
it. If he's playing better right now, and the answer of the question is, who's better right now, how can you say that, okay, Russell Wilson is playing better right now, but he's not better right now? You didn't make any sense. And what you said was completely oxymoronic. I could argue it was moronic, but I'm just going to say it was oxymoronic.
You're in trouble.
At best, Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes. And at worst, Russell Wilson does more with less than Patrick Mahomes. At best, Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes. At worst, right now, Russell Wilson does more with less than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce, 29, 30, 31-year-old tight end in his prime. Russell Wilson has Greg Olsen, a 35-year-old tight end who is the only reason that Russell Wilson has an interception on the season. Greg Olsen is the only reason.
Your old ass. Hold on to the
only reason. Russell Wilson has Tyler Lockett, who I like a lot. Tyler Lockett, Mecole Hardman, equal. Russell Wilson has DK Metcalf. Patrick Mahomes has Sammy Watkins plus Tyreek Hill.
Oh, really?
Beyond that, Russell Wilson has a defensive head coach. Patrick Mahomes has one of the best offensive minds, both at head coach and at offensive coordinator. The reason Russ was never able to cook was because he didn't have the ingredients in the kitchen. Imagine this, Marcellus.
Yes,
Simply imagine this. Imagine I walk into your kitchen. Cupboards are empty. I'm checking. Marcellus, where the salt? Marcellus, where the pepper?
I got that.
Marcellus, you ain't got no Lowry's. Marcellus, you ain't got no Tony Chachere's. But still, yet I prepare a marvelous 4-course meal.
At my house?
Marvelous.
Hey, chill, cuz.
Then you walk into my house, I got everything for you. Cupboard stacked full, fridge stacked full.
Nothing to eat.
And I come in there, and you ain't got nothing but no dry chicken and dry turkey. That's the difference, Marcellus. And it's very simply this. Patrick Mahomes is a baller. Let's be real. He's a baller. Dude throws no-look passes. Dude be looking here. He be throwing it there. But at most, Russell Wilson is playing better. And at least, he's doing more with less.
Wow, are you the same guy block to block? I see the same suit, but Patrick Mahomes, there's no substitute for Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my God, they're going to go undefeated. This block, well, he's not that good.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Good.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said, America.
I know how to do this. I do know what you did say.
What'd I say?
I'm going to save the best one, the best gotcha for later. Let's say right now, poor Russell Wilson with a defensive-minded head coach that will always hinder you and undermine you and handicap your success. That's what Acho kind of led us to.
We can. Absolutely.
Who's the GOAT? Tom Brady. Is Belichick a defensive-minded coach?
Sir, told me last week on Thursday in the G block that Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady. So don't sit here and say that. Who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT?
No, but I'm going by what people say. Don't give it to me. I'm just trying to respect the audience.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
There's a lot more of them out there than me. But the GOAT has a defensive-minded coach. So if Russell Wilson, you want to use as a handicap, look at Tom Brady and figure that out. Here's another one you tried to go with the talent argument. And a lot of this gets lost in folklore. Tom Brady has 17 first-team All-Pros he played with. Peyton Manning only had 12. And so all this talent conversation, you play with the greatest, dive a little deeper into the details. You'll understand how that really looked in New England versus Indy. But that's not what we're talking about right here. The gotcha moment, and you framed it perfectly for me, is How dare you talk about that Russell Wilson is number 2, Patrick Mahomes is number 1, but number 2's playing better, so therefore he's the better player. You said that. You literally said that.
That's
True?
facts.
Okay. This year, I witnessed this in the NBA.
What you witnessed?
Where LeBron James played with AD, who's a top 5 player, and some would say he's not 5, so he's higher than top 5, right? And AD had a better year than LeBron by the numbers, whatever you want to go. But then, by Acho's logic, I should be able to say comfortably that AD's better than LeBron. But Acho won't say that because nobody else will say that. So I don't understand why you're trying to say that right now with Russell Wilson versus Patrick Mahomes.
Marcellus, pick up the mic, the figurative pen that you dropped.
Oh, no, AD's better. You're right. He's playing better.
Let's talk numbers then. Let's talk numbers.
He's playing better right now. Yeah, get off this.
Patrick Mahomes' completion percentage, 68. Russell Wilson, 76.
Oh, you want to go now?
Patrick Mahomes' yards per pass, lower than Russell Wilson's. Patrick Mahomes is balling right now, touchdown-wise. He's balling. He's thrown, what, 9 touchdown passes?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's thrown 14. It's not an argument. What you're sitting here doing is wasting time. Now, I thank you. Your check is still going to cash, Marcellus. Hey, somebody call the bosses, make sure Marcellus' check still cashes. But what you're doing, sir, is wasting time. You can't sit here and tell me that if you are a pass rusher, but you're not in a defense that allows you to rush the quarterback. You can't sit here and try to say that you're going to have the same numbers as a guy who's sitting there rushing and blitzing every single play. That's what's going on with Russell Wilson in Seattle. Finally, that he's allowed to cook. Yeah. He is showing that he is, at minimum, he is doing more with less. Does Patrick Mahomes make it look sexy? Absolutely. No look passes, pump fake, jump down, no look, touchdown, gotcha. But at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes put 7 on the board like Russell Wilson put 7 on the board. Right now, Russell Wilson just put 7 on the board at a higher rate than Patrick Mahomes. That's not taking away from Patrick Mahomes. But what that is saying is, don't sit here and buy the hype, Marcellus. Just because you throw a no-look pass for 15 yards doesn't mean that my pass for 15 yards where I look at my receiver is any lesser.
All I want to know is 2 things from you.
What you want to know, sir?
One, what is the time allotment before you actually put a player in a different category and tier? Because I'm looking at this like a trial. Like you walked into this situation, if you're Russell Wilson, on trial. Are you the best player at the position? Are you number 2? Or are you top 5 for certain? We're not going to have much time on that trial. But are you number 1? But Acho, you will make me think that in 3 weeks, you can jump tier. And that's interesting because he was not number 1. And it was Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson coming out of the offseason with Russell Wilson hovering there. Because last time we saw Russell Wilson in the playoffs, he beat, Carson Wentz when he got injured. And before that, Dak Prescott beat him. So people were kind of like, Russell's right there, but it's Mahomes or is it Lamar Jackson? In one day, we've already said Russell Wilson is better than... You're saying it.
This season. This season, yes,
but
right now.
But that's my thing. How can you make that kind of sweeping indictment off of this season? That is the same indictment that says Anthony Davis is better than LeBron because LeBron was right there, Anthony Davis right there, but you know what? Anthony Davis played better this year, so guess what? He beats LeBron. I just don't understand. Maybe it's the millennial way, but you can't jump tiers that fast.
Here's what it is. Number 1, I take issue with your AD and LeBron argument, but we're going to talk about that next block. The issue I take with that is sometimes things transcend statistics. What I mean is who's galvanizing a team. Right, AD doesn't galvanize a team in the same manner that LeBron galvanizes a team, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
What is here is this debate we're having right now. Because they are all top tier, that is Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, throw Aaron Rodgers in there right now. Because they are all top tier, it's a neck-and-neck race. Who in the lead? Who in the lead?
Neck and neck?
It's neck and neck.
How is it neck and neck? Has Russell Wilson won MVP? Has he won a Super Bowl recently? And was he the catalyst and the reason why they won that Super Bowl, the one that they did win? So how is it even neck and neck? I'm just asking.
You can't simply let the lack of Russ's MVP, an award that you had nothing to do with, dictate your personal view on Russell Wilson. You know better than probably the people that voted because you more than likely played longer on average. You more than likely watch more film on average. You more than likely know the game better on average than those that even voted on the award. So I'm not going to take the lazy approach and say, oh, y'all told me Mahomes is better this season? Okay, hey, Marcellus, Mahomes is better. No. I'm doing my own homework, and that's the difference. I'm doing my own homework. I went home, take-home assignment. I studied. I checked my answers. I triple-checked. My mama said, make sure you quadruple-check, and now I'm submitting my assignment. Yes. You, sir, you did this. Hey, what you marked down for B? Hey, what you mark? It's B? The answer's C? The answer's C? Okay, oh, what you marked out for number 4? Okay. That's what you doing. Do your own homework, Marcellus.
I do my homework. I did my homework. Not all the time, but I did my homework a lot of times. You caught me on that Wileyism, plagiarism. Here's the thing, though. Marinate on your homework. Or, as I should say, professors would say, proofread. You're not proofreading. You're such in a rush to say, I turned it in before myself. Texas over Columbia. I'm like, dog, take a little time. Breathe. 3 weeks? It's time to turn in your final? Like, let it breathe. And if you don't let it breathe, Acho, it ain't gonna happen, Captain. Coming up, LeBron's former teammate Tristan Thompson is back. He'll tell us if another loss in the finals will hurt the Kings' legacy. Next, Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Let's move on to the NBA, where LeBron James will appear in his 10th NBA Finals starting tomorrow against the Heat. Lakers are coming in as the favorite, but there's one problem. LeBron is only 3-6 in the Finals. After winning the West, he said, quote, "Right now, it don't mean bleep unless I get it done." Joined now by LeBron's former teammate and Fox NBA analyst, Tristan Thompson. In that velvet right there. I see that black velvet.
Rich.
Hey, Tris, let's go to you first, big dog. Really rich. That's the Egyptian cotton. Would another finals loss hurt LeBron's legacy?
First and foremost, Lakers aren't losing. The Lakers aren't losing.
A game or the series? What you talking about?
They ain't losing a series. They winning. This is his. This is his 4th chip. Listen, the Miami Heat's a good team, but my partner D-Wade ain't on the other side. There to give them the intel on LeBron. So this is the Lakers to win. You see LeBron, he's the most focused guy in the bubble. You see his coach right now on media day. He's laser focused. It's nothing is getting in this man's way, and he's going to show it on tomorrow. You see that? You see the highlights, Jamal Murray, and one screaming in the air.
Come on.
Quit dodging the question. If they lose, would it hurt LeBron's legacy?
You know what the question is.
Tristan tried to Euro step the question and say they're not going to lose. This ain't
LeBron step.
They're not going to lose. So this ain't, listen, they're not going to lose, but guess what? At the end of the day, listen, LeBron's the greatest player of all time. Guess what? Win another championship is the icing on the cake. Some people might not agree with me because they probably born in the 70s, but I'm born in 91, and LeBron's the greatest player of all time.
Shots fired at only me, I feel.
Here's my thing, man. My dog Tristan had to Euro the question, so I'm going to stand here in the paint and answer it. If they lose, of course it's going to hurt LeBron's legacy. Now, like Tristan said, I think the Lakers win in 6. Tristan said they're going to gentleman sweep them, but I think Lakers going to get it in 6. But if LeBron loses, all hell's gonna break loose. And I'm gonna tell y'all why, America. 07, LeBron loses his 1st chip. That's excusable. Man, 3 future Hall of Famers on the Spurs, Hall of Fame head coach. That joint is excusable. Okay, 14, LeBron loses to the Spurs. 4 future Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame head coach. 15, 17, 18 loses to the Warriors. 2 to 3 future Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame head coach. The reason they're killing him for losing to the Mavericks when he first went to Miami, not because of the Mavericks, it's because of how LeBron played. However, if you lose to the Heat, Tyler Hero? I understand he a walking bucket, so they say, but he like a 20-year-old bucket? Let's keep it real. If LeBron loses this game, this series rather, it's over and done with. But here's the other thing.
Okay.
Trist, even if he win, I'll bring Tristan on. I want to see Tristan's face right now. I'm talking to Tristan.
Euro.
Even if he wins this 4th chip, Tristan, it doesn't really do much for his legacy. And I'm a LeBron stan. But think about this. In a game of football, several quarterbacks have won 2 Super Bowls. But it's an elite group that have won 3. Only 4 of them. Bradshaw, Montana, Brady, Aikman. A lot of dudes have won 4 titles. A lot in basketball. But when you start to get to 5, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, then you get up there with Jordan, obviously Russell, etc. And I'm not talking about the Robert Ory's of the world. I'm talking about tier 1 caliber type of talent. So, Tristan, they not going to lose. But if they did, my God, it's going to be bad for that King LeBron James.
Look, I got a problem, Tristan. Let me get some of this. Let me get some of this.
Yeah, get some of that
He
smoke.
up in the paint. He don't know. I'm here for 6 fouls, so I'm on elbows in this paint right now. No, it's not going to hurt his legacy if he loses. Who cares? He's already in the GOAT conversation, if not the GOAT. with a 3-6 finals record. You think 3-7 is going to be the one? Oh, it's time to just take him out the conversation. He's entered it already with this win percentage being at 33%. So 3-7 is not going to damn LeBron. But let's talk about what LeBron James really is. This is a championship that he's finally favored in. This is only the third time out of all those trips, 10 times, and only the third time the odds maker says that they should win it. Think about that, because Acho wants to talk about who he's played against in terms of team and in terms of what those guys look like, and really want to laugh at the Miami Heat, who are the Eastern Conference champions, but he wants to laugh at them about those guys. Forget who he's playing. Let's talk about who he's played with. Oh, my God. LeBron James walked into the finals one time with Jeff Green, Kyle Korver, George Hill, J.R. Smith, Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson, and shot 52% himself, and the rest of them dudes shot 37%. That was a finals team. And, Tristan, you better duck, because here comes a shot for you. Another time he walks in there, he looking like...
Take cover!
He going in there with Iman Shumpert, Dellavedova, Mozgov.
Hey, Deli went hard now.
Deli went hard, but how hard?
Yeah, Deli went hard as my partner.
This long. And then you, TT, all I'm saying is we keep putting all the focus on who LeBron is playing. Sometimes we got to look at being real. Who is he playing with? And he hasn't been a favorite more times than not. So I can make the classic case of LeBron is actually an overachiever, even being in this position right
Marcellus.
now. Yeah, I did it.
Marcellus. Now, let's go 3 box. So we all got to see each other's ridiculous reactions with Marcellus' hand right now.
Oh, wow.
You can't say that the king, a dude that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 17, we can't talk about overachievement when we're talking about the greatest of all time.
Really?
Like, we don't get to have those kind of like, oh, let me coddle your feelings, let me coddle your emotions.
You heard those names?
Oh, LeBron, are you okay? Well, let me burp you, LeBron, are you okay? No. Marcellus was a grown man conversation. This is a conversation with grown folk. They checked your ID before they let you on set.
Well, you want to check IDs? I got the grownest ID up here right now. Let's talk about 07 when he walked out there and had to go against Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Chris Webber, Rasheed Wallace. And then he beats them, but then his second leading scorer is who? Danny Booby Gibson. What the hell? LeBron James trying to win a finals against the Spurs with Booby?
Here's what
No chance.
Here's what
No
y'all gotta
chance.
remember, though. Here's what y'all gotta remember. All those excuses is fine and fun and dandy, but as LeBron stands, which honestly we all three rock with LeBron.
Everybody rock with LeBron.
I want it to be indefensible that LeBron is the GOAT. If LeBron loses this chip, there's no way to make it indefensible. How it is indefensible, however, if LeBron gets to 5 or if LeBron gets to 6, then there's no argument. LeBron has Jordan in points. He got Jordan in boards. He got Jordan in assists. He got Jordan in minutes played. He got Jordan in playoff games played. What does LeBron not have on Jordan? Finals. Marcellus, I understand what you said yesterday. I sat with that a little bit. Okay. Well, Jordan went 6 for 6. He was perfect. Sure. But if LeBron goes 6 for 12, and to do that, he just got to go 3 for 3. If LeBron goes 6 for 12, it's indefensible. You cannot argue that LeBron is now the greatest of all time. However, if LeBron loses this joint, Marcellus, and everybody looks back and like, he lost to the Mavericks? Ew. Oh, he lost to the Heat, led by Jimmy Butler. I mean, Jimmy has been a 5-time All-Star, but, like, he lost to Tyler Heroes, Jimmy, ew. Like, that is not indefensible. As a LeBron dude, I want to make sure the argument is clear-cut. Can't nobody argue against it. He is the greatest of all time. If they take this L, his legacy is done for. He's not even going to be as far as being the GOAT. If they take an L, Marcellus, if they take an L, Tristan, LeBron is disqualified from the greatest of all time conversation with Michael Jordan. And I think he would have to be.
Wow. Now you know what? I was waiting for my block to come back. I was waiting for me to come back in here. First and foremost, Acho, let's get it right. LeBron's greatest of all time right now. Yeah, he went 3-6 in the finals, but let's keep it real. Those 2 Warriors teams, those 17 and 16 with KD, ain't nobody beating that team in NBA history. Not Magic's teams, not Bird team, not nobody. They was beating everybody in NBA history. That's the best team in NBA history of all time, that KD team. Come on now, that was a cheat code. That was 2K. Ain't no way you're gonna beat that. So stop that. And hold on now, you wanna bring Jordan into this? Let's hear. MJ, he did his thing. I respect, I respect my elders. My mama told me that. I respect your elders. But come on now. Back then when Jordan was playing, the league wasn't top heavy like that. The league is top heavy now where superstars and top players are coming together. Whether it's the Heat, it's the Celtics, the Warriors. Back when Jordan was playing, Guys will stay with their teams. Reggie stayed in Indiana. Pat Ewing stayed in New York. Charles in the Phoenix. Imagine Reggie right now in the Knicks. You think the Bulls gonna beat that team with Reggie, Pat Ewing, and John Starks? Heck no. It was different back then. Guys used to tough it out. Alonzo Mourning down in 305 had to tough it out. Come on now.
I'm with you, TT. I'm with you, TT, but Marcellus, as the resident old head.
He don't got to get 6.
And I'm with you, T.
He don't got to get 6.
But as the resident old head, Marcellus, you have to put us on game. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. I'm with you, Tristan. That's how I would argue. You arguing how I'm trying to argue. But at the end of the day, these old heads, they not trying to hear them excuses, because what you're giving me and what I would be giving as well, in theory, are excuses. The best player in the world lost to a team. That's all they gonna hear. Wait, how can he be the best player in the world then? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but Acho, what you're saying is actually going to help LeBron James. You say it in a binary sense. You say it in the sense that I want an indefensible argument for LeBron James to be the GOAT. That's not how it happens. You just said indefensible argument. That's what's going to happen, an argument. And there's going to be two sides. And guess what? They're going to have ammunition. And it's not going to just be binary. It's going to be a gray area, because you got to start to measure. Who did he climb the mountain with? And then who did he have to face once he climbed the mountain? He's climbed the mountain 10 times right now. We talk about Michael Jordan 6 times, undefeated when he got there. And that's what we were talking about before, that there's a perfect argument for Michael Jordan, 6-0, no Game 7s. And then there's a death by 1,000 paper cuts argument that's coming from LeBron James that's saying, I'm going to beat him in points, rebounds, assists. I'm trying to get him in PER. And also trips to the finals with different teams, trips to the finals and winning MVP in the finals. So it's not going to be picture perfect.
But Marcellus,
it's not going to be that.
Did you say picture perfect, picture perfect?
It ain't going to be that,
Here's my thing, Marcellus. It is death by 1,000 little, ow.
That's LeBron.
But if LeBron gets to 5 or 6, get rid of the paper, pick up the knife, and it's over. Like, if LeBron gets to 6, I genuinely don't think there's an argument. But how can LeBron get to 6 if he loses here? That means the next time he can get for another one, he's going to be 36. Like, let's keep it a buck. The last time we saw an old superstar lead his team was Kareem when he won at 40, maybe turning 41, or he was 39, turning 40. Like, if LeBron loses this one.
But be real, even if he wins this one, this is how gangster this is going to be. This is why I don't go to barbershops, because the shots just fire everywhere you go. If he wins this one, you know what they're going to say? Yeah, you know, the team that never lost a game in the bubble was the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, we saw guys come out of nowhere. Yeah, it was the championship in the Sheraton Ballroom. Like, nobody gives a damn about that. Like, even when LeBron wins, he loses in some conversations. I say he's already in a GOAT conversation right now with a 3-6 record. How does 3-7 kill him when the only way he can kill Michael Jordan is through the points, is through the rebounds, is to the trips to the finals, the same way he's been rolling all the way since?
He gonna be 4-6. Don't you worry, Acho. He gonna be 4-6. And guess what? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So when them old dudes in the barbershop be talking, I say, listen here, man. Put your dentures back in and leave me alone. Because you don't know what you're talking about. You okay? I had enough of that. All right? Listen.
I love it.
Ain't no comparing right now. It's icing on the cake. Come on now, old folks. They're never gonna agree. They're always gonna think we crazy.
That's fair.
That's real. That's real. My wife would disagree with you, though, Tristan. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's what she says. Coming up, it looks like Drew Brees' best days are behind him. Reggie Bush will tell us if his former teammate is actually over the hill. Next, shots. Speak for yourself, presented by Hyundai.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself, presented by Hyundai. Let's talk about Drew Brees, who has been called out this season because he don't look like a future Hall of Famer. His arm strength and ability to throw the ball downfield have been put under a microscope. Adding fuel to the fire is the fact that he's 41 years old. The Saints are off to a sluggish 1-2 start to start the season. Well, we're joined by the #1 Brees defendant and former teammate, NFL analyst Reggie Bush.
Where's your jersey?
My dog. Marcellus, though, you up first. Is Drew Brees over the hill? Keep it real with me, bro. Don't lie to me now.
Wow. Every time you say that to me, if you say real talk, I probably don't trust you.
Probably don't trust you.
I always keep it real and know he's not over the hill. Now, you want to look at it, I'm assuming, Acho, from a literal sense of like, oh, you're going up, oh, potential, unlimited. You're at the top apex, you're great. Coming down the hill, over the hill. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like, do you still have enough to get it done? Because I think right now there's this narrative that's exaggerated about the demise of Drew Brees. Let's talk about that right now, because this is the wrong time, first of all, Acho, for you to pose a question after a guy goes 29 of 36, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, to say, is he over the hill?
Oh, and lost?
We're doing that now.
It's always the right time.
We're doing that right now, because when Cam Newton does a great game, you say, oh, Cam Newton's amazing, even in the loss to Seattle. But I digress. Here's the thing. We're talking about the air yards and how it's going down, and this year's at its lowest. And Drew Brees can't throw the deep ball. I was there day one. Drew Brees drafted to the San Diego Chargers when I was a Charger. You know what the question marks were? Drew Brees doesn't throw the ball down the field. Drew Brees doesn't have a big arm. How has that worked out for Drew Brees? But I think it's been a heightened sense of this conversation the last few weeks and the last few years. But let's talk about this Saints team that has won 13 games last year, 13 games the year before, 11 games before, and everyone wants to say the demise of Drew Brees, who still has enough to get it done, to put the Saints in winning position to not only win their regular season games, but win it all. So I'm looking at Drew Brees, not a guy over the hill, because there's still enough toothpaste in that tube to get it done, baby.
Bro, Marcellus, I'm holding it tube, just trying to get out that last little bit of toothpaste.
Holding the bottom
and I
up?
can't. I got to go back to the store, Marcellus. Y'all remember that song? Can I get the three box, please? I'm trying to see all my dogs. Y'all remember that song by Young Jock? It's going down, right? Like, Drew Brees completion percentage. It's going down. Passing yards per game. It's going down. Yards per attempt. It's going down. Every statistical category for Drew Brees is going down. Come on, man. Look, Reg, you my dog. Marcellus, my dog. If I say real talk, you can trust me, because real talk. Every statistical category, yes. For Drew Brees, Reg, going down. 2017, completion percentage 72. Then we spike 74, 74, 29. 2020, 70. Now, 70 is typically pretty good, but not for Drew Brees. Passing yards per attempt, 8.1, 8.2, 7.3. Ew. Passing yards per game, 270, 266, 270, 253. Yeah, I got to make sure y'all can read, because clearly y'all can't process well in the head if y'all don't think Drew Brees is over the hill. But now let me talk to you, Reg.
Hold up. Hold up.
Reggie, I understand your bias, man. I understand you're in a tough predicament, Reggie. I understand, right? You won a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. This man is an icon. This man is heroic. This man has put a lot of money in your pocket. I understand that, Reg. You ain't putting money in your pockets no more, so I need you to keep it a buck with me. Drew Brees is over the hill. And even if you don't say it, Reggie, even if Marcellus, you don't say it, you want to know who told me? Sean Payton. When it was 27-27 versus the Packers, game is on the line, fourth quarter, 12 minutes and 50 seconds left. Ready to take the snap. Wait, it's not Drew Brees. Look who's back there.
Keep going.
Is that Taysom? Is that Taysom?
And what did he do?
Who fumbled the ball?
Oh!
Exactly.
Wait, let me ask you this.
Back up.
Did Lamar miss any snaps last night? No, he didn't. No. Did Aaron Rodgers come out the game for the wild card? Wait, you're right. Patrick Mahomes, he did line up at receiver, and Mecole Hardman, a receiver, took a snap yesterday. Just to pitch the ball back to Patrick Mahomes so he could throw it. Anyway, if you are not over the hill, if your coach doesn't think you're over the hill, do you think they would be trotting out Taysom Hill, Reggie Bush? Do you think they would be looking for relief, Reggie Bush? Reginald Bush? Do you really think that that's what they would be doing? I need answers, and don't you dare fall asleep on me on set, because I saw you on Saturday, Reg. I saw you catching them Z's, Reggie. Don't fall asleep right now.
All I want to know, I had to get some Z's, man. Them games was boring at that time. I had to catch those Z's, you know what I'm saying? I thought I ain't know nobody was watching, to be honest with you. But let me get back to the arguments that you just laid out for us. Okay, you just said it. Who turned the football over? Was it Drew Brees or was it Taysom Hill? Because the last time I checked, Drew Brees did not have any turnovers in the game. Drew Brees also had 3 touchdowns, the same amount as Aaron Rodgers. Drew Brees also had 8 more completions than Aaron Rodgers. He also had a better QBR, and he also had a better rating. So we're talking about, is Drew Brees over the hill? Why? Because they lost the game. That's the only reason why we asking this question. That's the only reason why y'all bring me on this show. So because you think that I'm going to fall on Drew Brees is not going to happen. And on top of that,
he's on to us.
And on top of that, Drew Brees don't play defense. All right, Drew Brees can't.
There we go.
Oh, here Reggie goes.
Reggie, that's your homeboy for real. You go that argument.
The defense got carved up. All right, in the secondary, they gave up the deep ball. And when you play against Aaron Rodgers, you have to limit the deep ball because that's what they live and die by.
Here's my thing, Reggie. Man, the Packers would have to worry about the deep ball too if Drew Brees could throw it. But the problem is Drew Brees can't throw the deep ball. I'm not going to give you opinions anymore. I'm going to give you empirical data. I can't spell empirical, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Can't say it, though.
We've never seen in NFL history, at least not through the first 3 games in the last 15 seasons, a quarterback have less than 5 air yards an attempt. Drew Brees, yeah, of course he's throwing 29 completions when he's throwing a check down every single day. And I understand, Reggie, you were a former running back. I understand you lived and died by catching the ball out the backfield. But the Saints are dying because Drew Brees won't throw the ball past 5 yards.
Oh,
so
stop.
say what y'all will, gentlemen. But the stats do not lie. Men lie. Women lie. Reggie and Marcellus lie. But these full screens, they don't lie, baby.
Ooh. I got one argument.
Talk to me.
Michael Thomas. That's the reason why Drew Brees is not putting up those yards because he don't have his number 1 target. And y'all sitting over here acting like you don't see it. You're acting like you're blind now. Now you need to get your eyes checked. You ain't see Michael
He
Thomas
didn't have his number 1 target.
I got an argument for you. You know what? Hey, let them laugh. Let them laugh. But we going to laugh later, and we going to laugh greater. Here's the thing. I'm just going to nugget you up because I ain't do a full screen for this.
I don't like nuggets. I like tenders.
Me too. Keep it 1,000. I got to nugget you up because I ain't think this argument was going to have to go into deep waters because Acho is pretty obvious.
I'll be swimming in these waters, boy.
Okay, so let's start with the Michael Thomas argument because Michael Thomas is a huge deal while Drew Brees is not performing up to your standards. And let's say why. Because the last time Drew Brees had to go out there before this season and play without Michael Thomas, we have to go back to December 11th, 2016. You know what Drew Brees did in that game? Only threw for 11 points. Drew Brees, 3 interceptions because he missed Michael Thomas. So you can say it's not just about one guy, as Acho said. There's only one guy. They signed Emmanuel Sanders to a 2-year deal. You want to know what Emmanuel Sanders has done this year? 8 catches, 89 yards. Emmanuel Sanders, 2 years or fewer than 2 years removed from a torn Achilles. Oh, you want to say something?
Teacher,
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm going to keep going. No, forget that. I'm going to finish my argument. You know who has set the NFL record for completion percentage the last 3 years? Drew Brees. But now, Acho, I want you to answer this one since you want to bother the teacher.
Talk to me. I'm here.
Through 3 games, the Saints are averaging more points per game this year than they were last year. And last time I checked, when I watched you at the other network, you weren't yelling how Drew Brees was the issue then. So why are you yelling now when he's actually doing more for the offense than he did last year? That's called a mic drop.
First off, why are you watching the other network when you work for Fox? That's the first problem. You need to be watching Fox and watching Fox exclusively. My second question, Reggie Bush, let me ask you this.
Please.
Devontae Adams, top 5 receiver in the NFL, you would say, right? Top 5? Yeah, right. Oh my God!
By game, but by name.
Okay, sure. Let me get top 7. 1 year. I want to see it.
Okay, yeah. He top receiver.
He didn't play either. He was on the sideline wearing his gold chains. So stop telling me that oh my God, Drew Brees didn't have Michael Thomas.
Oh, don't do that.
Drew Brees, are you okay?
Hey, Reggie.
You didn't have Michael Thomas.
We both,
Drew Brees, are you okay?
Somebody
get Drew Brees the bottle, please.
Don't you
Drew Brees,
do that.
Are you okay? You didn't have Michael Thomas.
First of all, it's not
Aaron Rodgers didn't have Devontae Adams. Just stop talking like that.
Thomas gone. It's Emmanuel Sanders ain't in his uniform, even though he on the field. And Jared Cook got hurt in the game and had to leave with his groin. Come on, Acho, if you're going to slice it, you got to slice it with the right knife. Drew Brees is going out there compromised and still putting up more points this year than they did last year when they won 13 games. Come on, Acho, cuddle that.
Excuses are like buttholes. We all have them, and they all stink. Reggie stink right now. Marcellus is stink right now. I was wondering what was so funky on this set. Turns out it's just these gosh darn excuses. Reggie, you are a champion of the highest pedigree at the highest level. Both at USC and at the Saints. And yet you dare come on this set with the lack of championship mindset. It's mind-boggling how someone with so much success comes up here and lowers the bar. Reggie, explain yourself, please.
How are we lowering the bar? They lost to the Green Bay Packers, who are really good. You acting like they lost to some bums. You acting like they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals or something. They lost to a really good football team. Jesus Christ. Maybe they were just a better team on that day. And it also matters how you lose football games. If you get blown out, okay, yeah. Then maybe we got to talk about Drew Brees being over the hill. Then maybe we got to talk about looking at some other options. But they lost by 7 points in the fourth quarter in the last minute. So, and Drew Brees didn't even turn the football over. So, I don't understand
they took him off the field. He couldn't.
You see in him being over the hill.
Acho is slick. You know, he puts on baby oil, Vaseline to show off his little muscles.
Only on Instagram. That's only on IG.
Well, when I knew I had to work with him, I looked at his Instagram and said, oh, hell no. This dude all muscled up, all wet, glistening, all over his body. But you know what? He does it because he wants to be slippery in these arguments, too. And he got slippery on you. You brought up the defense. And I want to continue to talk about the Saints defense that has lost 2 games by giving up 34 or more points, those 2 losses. You want to know what the record of teams that give up 34-plus points, Acho, is 71 and 732 and 2 ties. You know what that is? You're going to lose 91.1% of the time if your defense spots a team 34 or more points. How the hell can Drew Brees survive in a situation like that?
You all are so blinded by your affection. The Saints had more yards than the Packers. They had more rushing yards than the Packers, Reggie. They had more passing yards than the Packers. The Saints, the Packers' defense was just as atrocious as the Saints' defense. And yet here y'all are acting like y'all can't see. Open up your eyes. Marcellus, somebody get Marcellus' contacts. I didn't know you needed to.
LASIK. I got LASIK.
Can you get Marcellus' contacts? Reggie, put your glasses on. Put on the stunner shades. Please, the ones you wore for the GQ photo shoot back in the Gap. Put those on because they would help you see better. Because both of y'all are blind right now by love.
Wait a minute. Reggie, did you hear him hit that fabulous? Did you hit that fabulous? Down. Okay, here's the thing. Drew Brees is helping them score more points this year.
They're done.
But the defense is giving up more points this year. I don't understand why you want to say that when we saw Peyton Manning 2015. Saw that demise, still won a Super Bowl. How about Elway in his latter years? Not exactly John Elway at his heights, still had enough to get it done. So if you're Drew Brees, you look at a older John Elway, you look at an older Peyton Manning, you look at yourself in this same position, and you say, they won championships on the way out. Why can't I?
Don't argue with fools, because from a distance, you can't tell who is who. So I am done with this argument. Coming up in our big story, Lamar Jackson was given another L by the Chiefs last night. We'll tell you if the reigning MVP was exposed by KC. That's next. Speak for yourself. Presented by Hyundai.
Speak for yourself. Marcellus Wiley, Emmanuel Acho.
I'm feeling good right now after that last block, bro. I robbed your right hook. I bobbed Reggie's, and I threw a nice 2-piece myself.
In that nice suit, too. Look at you. Looking good, feeling good over there. All right, let's move on to somebody who's not feeling so well right now. Our big story, Lamar Jackson, who was shut down last night by the Chiefs defense in the Ravens' first loss of the season. Baltimore didn't score an offensive touchdown till the fourth quarter, and Lamar was limited to a career-low 97 passing yards. Reigning MVP even called KC, quote, our kryptonite. He is now 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs and 21-1 against every other team as a starter. So, Acho, did Lamar get exposed in the Ravens' loss to the Chiefs?
This one hurts my heart, Marcellus.
I know where you're going. Don't do it.
But he did. And I'm not saying Lamar is bad, but Mahomes is better. At this stage in Lamar Jackson's career, we know that 3 things are for certain. Death, taxes if you're not the president, and that Lamar Jackson is going to lose to the Chiefs.
He's so stupid.
2018, Lamar Jackson, he only had 1 blemish on his record.
What was that?
To the Chiefs.
Okay.
2019, Lamar Jackson, he only had 2 blemishes on his record. 1 was to the Chiefs. 2020, he only has 1 blemish on his record to the Chiefs. Week 1 and week 2, Lamar Jackson outscored his opponents, I believe, 77-16. Something so lopsided and ridiculous like that. But then you come out against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and it's night and day. Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. But the problem is Patrick Mahomes has proven to be better. Lamar Jackson, let me put this in context. Patrick Mahomes currently accounts for 75% of Lamar Jackson's career losses. That's all you got to say. That's literally, he accounts for 75% of Lamar Jackson's career losses in the regular season. He's only lost 4 games, Marcellus. You know how good Lamar Jackson is to only lose 4 games? And 3 of those have been to Patrick Mahomes. So, well, Lamar got exposed as not being as good as Mahomes. Not that he's bad. We know that. MVP last year, superstar, can make you miss. He's amazing. But Patrick Mahomes is on another level.
I want to go all the way there with you, but I can't.
Come to the dark side.
You're right. Take that pill. I'm not taking the blue pill. I'm taking the red pill. Here's the brutal truth. He got exposed to his teammates who now have doubt about this team in one particular circumstance.
Okay, I like that.
It's not just Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are on the field, also we're going to lose. I think that's part of our narrative, which is greater because, one, they don't even play against each other. It's defense versus defense against the quarterbacks. What's really happening is now, if you look at Lamar Jackson, he can't come back. He's 0-5 in games when they're 10 points down or more. So think about it. Going into this game, and once again, they start slow against the Chiefs. As he says, they're the kryptonite for this team. And you find yourself down. And then your teammates looking at you like, we know you have never had a comeback of 10 points or more, and we down 17. What's up? And then they actually start to make some noise, make some hay. And then they get to a point where you're like, okay, you've had a bad game, but if you win this game, we could forget about all those ills. But they lose again. Now you walk into that locker room, and one thing comes into your mind. We're going to go out there and play the rest of the schedule, probably only lose 1 or 2 more games, run teams off the field like we do by 30, 40 points. But we have not cured our ill, which is looking at you if we get into a crunch situation. Forget facing Mahomes. If you face Mahomes, it's going to be an AFC championship game or something like that. I'm talking about any situation where you find yourself potentially down, whether it's early in the playoffs, as we've seen, or latter season when it matters. This team doesn't believe that their quarterback can pull them out of those situations because so far, the quarterback hasn't.
You have to remember 2 factors. I said this yesterday. The teams with the better quarterback in the National Football League, they win the games.
Okay.
So unless y'all think it's sheer coincidence, it's not. The Chiefs have the better quarterback. So he's getting exposed for not being as good as Mahomes. Yes, Lamar had a better season if we look at that sample size last year. But the fact of the matter is, your quarterback going to win you the game. The boys went head-to-head yesterday. Patrick Mahomes accounted for 411 total yards to Lamar Jackson's 180. Now, I know what you also might say. Well, Lamar Jackson, he ran the ball well. Patrick Mahomes, he ran the ball too. And 50% of his rushes were for touchdowns or first downs. You know just as well as I do, the most demoralizing thing. I know this better because I played linebacker. Most demoralizing thing, you in perfect coverage, Marcellus. You got everybody D'd up, Then you look back from your cover 3 drop, and the quarterback done tucked the ball and ran for a first down. He out of there. Yeah. Also, think about this. Lamar Jackson, as elusive a runner as he is, and I think he's the best runner at quarterback the National Football League has ever seen, he got sacked 4 times. Patrick Mahomes got sacked none. This isn't because of the Chiefs' offensive line is so much greater than the Ravens. No, this has everything to do with mental processing. Understand that there's a blitz coming, so you got to get rid of the ball. That's what Patrick Mahomes right now is doing better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, he's 0-5 versus Mahomes and in the playoffs. You combine that stat. He got exposed. And ultimately, Lamar Jackson, we said this before, and here's where I'll end. Lamar Jackson is great, but it's not enough for him to be great. He got to win the chip. You might say it's only week 3, Acho. It's only week 3. But we know this. If you can't beat the Chiefs, you're not winning the chip, at least in the AFC. You didn't beat them week 3. Sure, you'll get another run at it probably in the playoffs. But for right now, you 0-3 against them dogs. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me for believing in you. We've been fooled 3 times now. We got to wise up.
Yeah, I respect that, but exposed is too much. It's too much hot sauce on it. Ugh, take it back. Too much damn hot sauce on it. There is a pattern, and the pattern isn't just the Chiefs, even though we know we have to get through the Chiefs. We got to get to the Chiefs. Last year, to get to the Chiefs, they were down 10+ against Tennessee. What happened? Scrap the game plan. We're hurt. Ingram is not looking the same. Andrews is not here. Oh, you know what we're going to do? we're going to just throw the ball and try to hope. Whatever the way that the Chiefs sit there and wait for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to come, they have to overcome this obstacle before Kansas City. I think that Kansas City is obviously the ultimate choice, ultimate crown, but they gotta come back from a game to get the belief back in this locker room. But I'm setting you up for something grander, and I'm gonna bring in somebody who's gonna be a part of this setup. Joined now by Fox NFL analyst LeVar Arrington. Go to you, big dog. Did Lamar get exposed in the Ravens' loss to the Chiefs?
No, I don't believe he got exposed. I think that when you look at the way this game played out and unfolded, you have to take a larger look at what's taking place in these matchups. It's John Harbaugh who's getting exposed in these situations. It's the coaching staff. If you kill the head, the body will die is always the statement that's made in terms of having success against a collective body and a collective group. John Harbaugh still has a message from his coaching mentor and from his coaching tree, Andy Reid, that says, don't judge. It's behind his desk, okay? If you look at the record that John Harbaugh has against Andy Reid, it's 1-4. The mental block is not with Lamar Jackson. The mental block is with the head coach. I can remember being in college. This is why I was thinking this way. We never beat Tom Brady, Drew Henson, and the Michigan Wolverines during my time there. And I can recall all the way up until the games like Michigan or Michigan State, our coaches would be pretty relaxed in practice. You know, you do things a certain type of way. But that Michigan week or Ohio State week, our coaches got weird. Like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, why are you screaming at me? You ain't screamed at me all season long.
Yeah.
Why you panicking? I think you saw a team that was, we saw, people were saying they look out of sorts. They don't look in tune. They were panicking. And I think it started probably during the practice week and the preparation of it. I don't think Lamar was exposed. John, you got to get a hold of yourself. It's okay to beat up on Andy Reid. I promise you. All right. It starts with the head coach on this one.
We used to call that butt tight Fridays when we had a big opponent. We'd be like, Coach, why you coming here so tight? Like, relax. They put on uniforms like us, so we gonna be all right. It's interesting that right now Acho wants to talk about that Lamar is not on Patrick Mahomes' level. That's what you're saying?
Not right now. He's
not. And it's funny because that level, I don't think is properly defined. What Patrick Mahomes is consistently great, but not greater in terms of evaluation of the position when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has higher highs, but he also has lower lows. It's a Kobe Duncan kind of conversation. It's a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady kind of conversation. And let me illustrate that as the full screen king.
Full screen.
How my man is so high, but also so low. Look at these regular season stats because we know the lows also occur in the playoffs for Lamar Jackson. Has a higher record in terms of win percentage. Special games, as we used to say in the defensive room, that's when they go out there clean, no interceptions, no turnovers, 4 or more touchdowns. We saw Lamar Jackson has 4, and Patrick Mahomes got his 5th one last night, so they were basically tied in that. Perfect games by the passer rating. Perfect. Like, you didn't do anything to him. Lamar has 2 of them. Patrick Mahomes, in playing more games, has none. Let's talk about games above 134 passer rating. You're like, where you get that random-ass number from? You know where I got it from? Because that's what Lamar Jackson was averaging before he walked in that game last night. 7. What about Patrick Mahomes? Only 2? Now, y'all, I don't want to cook the books. I'm going to help Patrick Mahomes out. Let's go down to 130 to help him out. 7 to 5, still not the same. But then we get to where all of a sudden this is where the haters come and this is where Lamar Jackson loses. Games under 80 passer rating, the bad games, like last night. Lamar Jackson has more, 7, compared to Mahomes' 3, by starting fewer games. So wipe that away. This is the same thing we went through almost with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Peyton Manning could not beat Tom Brady when he was early in his career. But he was a better quarterback. But then the success over there and the consistent excellence started to make people say that Peyton Manning's not on Tom Brady's level. Well, based on this full screen, as Acho told me, full screens don't lie. looks like Lamar Jackson is actually more special when he hits.
Now, here's a problem with this argument that you have and that LeVar is currently co-signing.
You gonna go call
LeVar,
him,
take your name off the co-signature, please. It's not going to end well for you. The problem that you have with this argument, Marcellus, is I don't care if you win by 40 or you win by 10. You won. Lamar Jackson in these perfect games, you're saying, sure, he's blowing his people out. Patrick Mahomes is too. He's just not blowing them out as much. Like, is that their strongest case? Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl before he lost a game by more than 7 points. Like, I don't care about any any Just let Patrick,
you don't care that someone is reaching a higher height than somebody else at the same position? You don't care about that?
Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl before he lost a game.
When he threw as many interceptions as he did touchdowns.
Before he lost a game by as many points as Lamar Jackson lost a game yesterday. And Patrick Mahomes at his worst has lost games by 7 points and has won a Super Bowl. I don't care about
Patrick Mahomes at his worst is not as bad as Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
But Patrick Mahomes at his best as an evaluator is not as great.
Sure.
One is redefining the position, and that's Patrick Mahomes. And one is reimagining the position when he hits, and that's Lamar Jackson.
But here's what I'm saying. Lamar Jackson at his best and Patrick Mahomes at his best. Even if Lamar's best is better than Mahomes' best, they're still going to win. Like, Mahomes' best is still going to beat everybody else. Lamar's best is still going to beat everybody else. The fact of the matter is, when Lamar plays Mahomes, he doesn't get it done. And right now, the Chiefs are the best, at least in the AFC, reigning champs until somebody takes that crown.
I hear Twitter saying, but look at the weapons. I hear Twitter saying the weapons, but I ain't going there.
It's a little, that's a little skewed in terms of how it paints the picture of Lamar Jackson in this matchup. And the reason why I'll say that is, just looking at it from a critical eye, you saw a Baltimore team that was more cautious, we'll say, in how they approached their game plan. Whereas you looked at a Kansas City Chiefs team that came out, I thought it would have been opposite. I would have thought that Baltimore would have came out and their hair would have been on fire. The defense would have lived and died by playing that aggressive pass rushing type of defense. I saw they had stunts that were going away from where the run was going. They were, you know, Patrick Mahomes, they were so prepared for what it was that they were going to do. It just did not look as though they were prepared. The Ravens were prepared to be able to match the intensity and the aggression that was coming from the Chiefs, which was surprising. And at the moment where you saw the Chiefs kind of maybe let off a little bit, you saw Eric Bieniemy put that fire right back under those guys, and they responded. I just don't think that this is something that you can look at this matchup and look at the game in particular last night and say that it's because Patrick Mahomes is better or Patrick Mahomes is so far removed from where Lamar Jackson is. This was truly a team effort on Kansas City's part, because Kansas City's defense they were in, and you got your Kansas City red on today, I see. They were in Lamar Jackson's face. They played their cards right. They blitzed high. You saw it, Marcellus. They went high on their blitzes. They didn't even worry about Lamar stepping up into the pocket. They stayed high, assuming that Lamar would try to escape high. And you know what? He did. So game plan-wise and aggression-wise, I look at Kansas City. They were just ahead of what Baltimore was. I wouldn't expect that 2-3 times.
For LeVar now, can y'all bring in that Coach of the Year award? Because all I heard was coaching jargon and sweet nothings, LeVar. All that stuff is great. It's so great. But ultimately,
you got to have it.
The best quarterback always wins when it comes down to it. Not always, but 80% of the time.
Now we went from always to 80.
The best quarterback is going to win. Look at the game on Monday. Look at the games on Sunday. Look at the game last Thursday. Better quarterback going to win the games. Unless y'all think it's sheer coincidence that every time Lamar Jackson plays Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs out-coach the Ravens. No. What it comes down to is, right now, Patrick Mahomes is just better than Lamar Jackson.
So what was the difference between Baker and Wentz? What was the difference between Baker and Wentz?
Don't do that. That's his weak spot right there.
Coming up,
the difference between Baker and Wentz.
Seahawks are undefeated, but we'll tell you if their success is actually fool's gold. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Don't do that to him.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. We got to head to Seattle, where the Seahawks are undefeated to start the season. Russell Wilson is looking like the MVP front runner with the league-leading 14 TD passes. But there's a problem on the other side of the ball. Seattle's defense has given up 86 points, which is the third most by a 3-0 team in NFL history. LA is back with us, but Marcellus, you up first. Are the Seahawks, the 3-0 Seahawks, are they fool's gold?
Yeah, they're fool's gold, and I hate to do this. Golly, these questions almost frame me into talking bad about Seattle.
You do that to yourself. You do that to yourself.
But they are fool's gold. Okay, you know what? Don't listen to me on this subject. Listen to Bobby Wagner, who after a 3-0 start to this season, the reporters noticed that he was deflated and angry. Sounded that way. Why? Because he knew that they were letting this team down on the defensive side of the ball. Acho just talked about 3-0 teams in league history. Let's talk about those teams that allow 86 points or more. This is the third most by a 3-0 team. What does that mean? This is one of the worst lopsided, like seesaw effects of tremendous offense. A Russell Wilson front-runner MVP performance who's living on a prayer. Living on a prayer. He is living on... Russell Wilson, this is Russell Wilson during the game. Hi, touchdown. Touchdown. All right, Sierra. All right, Sierra. All right, go Hawks, Sierra. Go Hawks. You want to see Russell Wilson in the fourth quarter with 10 seconds remaining? On all fours, please, 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 don't let us down. Oh, we got to win this one. Woo! Do it again. Please, please don't beat us, Cowboys. Oh, woo! How in the hell do you waste the efforts of an MVP performance, not once, but twice in back-to-back weeks? This is going to be a problem for this team if they don't fix their defense. They are allowing, on average, 430 passing yards in a passing league. So for anyone who thinks I'm a hater, go ahead. That's fine. I've heard that a lot. But if you listen to Bobby Wagner and you listen to those defensive members, they know they're on borrowed time in terms of this level of success.
Marcellus, I'm going to tell you this till I'm blue in the face, and it's going to be hard for me to get blue in the face because your boy is dark-skinned.
Oh, God.
But the Seahawks are 12-2 in games decided.
I got them undertones.
You ain't light-skinned. He light-skinned by heart. He light-skinned by heart. Look, the Seahawks are 12-2. Russell Wilson is the last 2 years in games decided by 7 points or less. Okay. They live here. They comfortable here. Give them a blanket, set them up with a pillow. They're going to sleep comfortably in games decided by 7 points or less. I told you yesterday, I'll tell you again. NFL, 53% of games are decided by 7 points or less. So the Seahawks aren't in foreign territory. 50%, 8 games every year are going to come down to 7 points or less. Right now, 2 of the Seahawks' 3 games have come down to a touchdown. That's not foreign territory. That's just how the NFL cookie crumbles. What it comes down to is this, though. Fool's gold, you can only identify as fool's gold once it's exposed. See, because from a distance, fool's gold actually looks like gold. That's why you call pyrite fool's gold. The Seahawks aren't going to get exposed. So whether they're fool's gold or not, Marcellus, who's going to expose them? The Dolphins coming up this week?
There you go.
Who's going to expose them? The Vikings? Who's going to expose them? Maybe the Cardinals, but even still, Russell Wilson covers a multitude of their defensive sins. So the Seahawks aren't fool's gold, because to be fool's gold, you got to get exposed, and ain't nobody about to expose the Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't think it's fool's gold either. And I think, as you mentioned, you touched on the schedule, Acho. When you look at it, the next 2 weeks, they have the Dolphins, and then they have the Vikings, and then they have a bye week. They can get to their bye week at 5-0. Now, those next games against Arizona, they had the Bills, the San Francisco 49ers. They have some teams. Then they have the Arizona Cardinals again. We're going to find out a lot about this Seahawks team as they're moving, but make no mistake about it, trial by fire, right? They've beaten 2 pretty good teams. The Cowboys aren't winning, but they're not a horrible team. Talent-wise, they have the talent. They just don't know how to win the games. But then that New England Patriot team, they can win games, and they are for real, and they beat those guys in a close one as well. So I think those nail-biter games are not the way to judge by saying that they're not as good as they need to be and that they'll end up losing. It says that they're beating pretty good teams right now early on in the season. You get that film, you're able to study it, you're able to try to correct things. You get to that bye week at 5-0, they're sitting pretty. I don't look at it as a fool's gold team.
You better. This is why. Because you're going to get into the division. And Arizona ain't playing games this year. Excuse me, Dougie Fresh. San Francisco, we don't know when they're going to get healthy.
They just took an L.
They took an L. That's great.
They just took an L.
We're 1 play and 1 yard away in close games, and they've been on the good side of that. But you keep playing with that fire, it ain't going to warm you no more. It's going to burn you. And that's the situation. You got San Francisco whenever they're healthy. We got the Rams whenever you got to see them. In the division, nobody's scared of you. Nobody want to hear that. And if you're going to allow 430 passing yards per game, then you're going to find yourself in these same situations playing with that same fire. So I think they're going to be tremendous this year, the Seattle Seahawks. They're off to a great start. We all know once we get into the locker room, the scoreboard is outside the locker room. Who gives a damn how many points we had? Long as we got that win so we can come in here and celebrate and then learn from our mistakes in a winning mindset. But there's going to be bumps on the road. And if you continue to give up this amount of passing yards on the defensive side, a team, a culture that was built defensively, oh, it's going to be a matter of time. You're getting exposed.
No one's been able to stop them, though.
They played 3 games.
LeVar, let me talk to this smart man from Columbia for a second.
Oh, here we go.
Marcellus, you're an intelligent individual. Pyrokinesis, you know what that means?
Sound like something going to get burnt up.
Pyrokinesis. It's the purported ability, psychological ability to be able to control fire with your mind.
I was a pyro.
Oh, wow.
The Seattle Seahawks, as long as they're led by Russell Wilson, he is going to be able to control any type of fire, not with his mind, but with his arm. He's not going to get burned because the person controlling the fire is Russell Wilson. One possession game. Yes, Russell Wilson had to go down and score to make sure that they were ahead so Cam Newton would have to match. One possession game against the Cowboys. Russell Wilson had to go down and score to make sure that they not only let the Cowboys have to score, but score and get the extra point. Pyrokinesis. That's what Russell Wilson is. That's what he does. He embodies that. The Seahawks ain't playing with fire as long as Russell Wilson is the one controlling the fire.
Well, that fire flames out in the playoffs somehow, some way. Figure that out, pyrokinesis. Coming up, if you missed it this weekend, Dak beat you. We're here to give you a full recap. We'll give you our Week 3 winners and losers. Next. I was a pyro, too. I used to burn everything else. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. It's winners and losers time. All right, each week we'll give you our top 3, but a quick reminder, we're not saying anyone or anything is an actual loser, but for 1 week only, they certainly look that way. All right, Acho, give us your Week 3 losers first.
My third biggest loser. This one hurts because he was a winner just last week.
Man.
Mitch Trubisky, because he's pulling up the short end of the stick. 2-0 for the Bears. He had 13 for 22, 100-plus yards and a touchdown, and he got benched. And worse than that, Nick Foles came in and won him the game.
Hello.
Oh, Mitch,
Hello.
I hurt for you, and I know it hurts. But who knows? You're a winner last week. Maybe you'll be a winner next week. My number 2 biggest loser, Sam Darnold. And it's not even Sam Darnold's fault. It's the Adam Gase curse. Remember, Adam Gase, he convinced us that Ryan Tannehill was no good. He convinced us Kenyon Drake was no good. He convinced us Devontae Park was no good. Then he went and convinced us that Le'Veon Bell was no good. And now Sam Darnold got the world believing that you ain't no good. Sam Darnold, I believe in you. But for right now, you're the number 2 biggest loser. My number 1 biggest loser, the Falcons fans' blood pressure. Because these collapses have been generational. First off, 4 years ago, you blow the biggest lead in Super Bowl history, let the Patriots come back from a 25-point deficit. And then we see you last week. 440 teams have played games where they have had 39 points and no turnovers, and 440 teams have won. But you Raiders have somehow found a way to lose. And then you just saw my number 3 biggest loser. He was replaced by Nick Foles. Nick Foles came in and beat you, Falcons. The blood pressure for these Falcons fans is already high because of that chicken they be serving in the A, but it's even worse because of the stress of the Falcons.
I was about to say, Atlanta's the wrong city to be having high blood pressure. All the black people down there, all our people, only D.C. would be worse. Okay, politics at play. Undefeated starters getting benched now. Mr. Trubisky, I got your back, big dog, but that is tough sledding. All right, here are my 3 losers. Let's start off with number 3. The Raiders, winless in New England. These dudes have not won a game in Foxborough since 1994. What the tuck rule is going on with y'all? Y'all can't get a win in Foxborough. It must be cracking at that club out there where y'all go before the game. Something's going wrong with the Raiders when they go east. Number 2 loser, the Giants and head coach Joe Judge. The verdict is in. Acho was right. Your culture sucks. I don't know what the hell you got them coaches running laps for, because they must be too tired to call the right plays. Everybody, I know Saquon hurt. I get it. But still, find a way. Scrape, scratch.
Anything.
Find a way. Do something.
Please.
Make it look like you got a team of a collection of collegiate all-stars, which you don't look like right now. And our number 1 loser for the week for me, Eagles. Come on, it's time to bench Carson Wentz. It rhymes. Sacrificing 52 for 1 is not the way we play football. Bench Wentz, it rhymes. Guess why? Because there's no rhyme or reason for him to still be out there getting $32.5 million to put up this performance. He might be the worst quarterback by performance this first 3 weeks of the year. Acho.
Hey, chill out, cuz. Chill out. I like the first half of your list, but you know how I feel about that Wentz slander.
Hey.
Either way, I'm going to talk about something Wentz is going to be someday soon. The winners, because it's winning time. Let's get to my number 3 biggest winner on the weekend. How about the Browns? Shout out to the Dog Pound. Over 500 for the first time since December of 2014.
Whatever.
They haven't taken the field above 500 in 85 games since December 14th of 2014. But shout out to you, Baker Mayfield, because you look more like the Baker Mayfield of old than the Baker Mayfield of last year. Okay, my number 2 biggest winner is the Chiefs. Y'all remember that movie, Hidden Figures? Well, the Chiefs got some hidden figures who was winning themselves. Anthony Sherman, fullback, caught a touchdown yesterday on a shovel pass. My God. Only 3 touchdown catches in his career. His career been 10 years. He got one yesterday. But then Eric Fisher, offensive tackle, number 1 overall pick. First time we've seen a number 1 overall pick score a touchdown in the game since 96, Keyshawn Johnson. Oh, but my number 1 biggest winner. Josh Allen, shout out to you for being a top 5 quarterback, and shout out to Bills Mafia. Everybody questioned Josh Allen. They said he couldn't throw. They said he couldn't run. Well, now he's number 1 in passing, number 2 in passing yards in the NFL.
He is.
Number 2 in passing touchdowns, and the Bills are 3-0. If you 3-0, 75% chance you make it to the playoffs. But more importantly, the Bills look like they have a stronghold over that AFC East division, which the Patriots have always owned. Shout out to you, Josh Allen. You my biggest winner on the weekend.
Bills Mafia, Josh Allen. Ooh, that boy a dual threat for real. Y'all letting that paint job fool y'all. Better get that boy his props. He is out there beasting. Big arm, great legs, Buffaloes for real. You keep bringing up Keyshawn Johnson. You know he went a whole season with only 1 touchdown. Might be the 1 touchdown you keep talking about. I hate you, Keyshawn. I never liked you as a friend. All right, let me get to my 3 winners. Let's start off with Dak Prescott. Contract year, career year again. Oh, Jerry Jones. Oh, they want to put the gun to his head. Dak, what you gonna do in contract years? Man, go ahead and squeeze that. Tat. What the? That's what happens when you play with Dak Prescott and his money. He shows up every single time. Oh, career game after career game in consecutive weeks. Dak Prescott's that dude. Number 2 winner, Steelers. Behind the steel curtain, in case you guys haven't been paying attention, is an undefeated team, the steel curtain. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-8 last year, 8-8, and you now have the great Ben Roethlisberger back in this team. This team is balling right now, and for some reason, not getting a lot of attention behind the curtain. Let's go with my number 1 winner, Nick Foles. Live your brand. Oh, my God. In case of emergency, break glass. And then sift through that glass. And here comes Nick Foles with a prayer for you answered. Because that's who Nick Foles is. The guy just shows up. He knows who he is. He's the guy that comes in there, gives you the energy, and gives you the wins in production as well. Nick Foles, way to go out there and live your brand. All right, let's get it going. Coming up, after 7 seasons, Doc Rivers is out as a Clippers coach. We'll tell you if he got a raw deal next. Speak for yourself, damn you.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourselves. Let's move to Marcellus' Clippers, who made a big move yesterday by parting ways with Doc Rivers in what owner Steve Ballmer called a, quote, mutual decision. Sure. Rivers said Rivers squad was a title favorite, but they lost a 3-1 lead against the Nuggets. Reports say Ballmer called several players, including Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, before making the decision. But nothing they said changed his mind, and the owner ultimately made the call to part ways. So, Marcellus, you let me know, did Doc Rivers get a raw deal here?
A raw deal here, huh?
Short end of the stick.
No, he didn't. And look, I know. Oh, God, I hate to be this guy, but...
Be honest.
I was raised by honest people. Doc Rivers. Woo, you can't be Doc Rivers and coach this team any further. Obviously, from the phone call, sound like nobody had his back anyway. So let me say what happened on those same phone calls. Talking to a Kawhi and Paul George, even though, damn you, Kawhi, shooting 33% from 3, your worst in your career. Damn you, Paul George, shooting under 40% from the field. You can't defend Doc Rivers. But you know in the game, You can't fire all the players.
That's true.
So you need a scapegoat. You got to fire the coach. I have suffered not once, but twice from expectations and being up 3-1 with those expectations in second-round series for the Clippers. And Doc Rivers lost both of those. 2 errors. You can't lose 2 errors of players. Like Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Lob City, up 3-1. What had happened was...
Okay,
so...
See, what had happened was...
Right, and all those names are any on this team, so they already kind of cleaned the cupboard for you, Doc. Reset, I get it. Personality issues, chemistry issues, whatever you want to call it. Doc, reset, go again. You get Kawhi, Paul George, and the boys, and it happens again. Can't look at them. Got to look at the common denominator. So as much as it pains me, Acho, nah, he ain't get a raw deal.
Man, there was a show I used to love, and it was called The Weakest Link. And the tagline, I think it's coming back, but the tagline was very simple. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Doc Rivers, man, you are the weakest link, sir. Marcellus, you were too kind to Doc Rivers because sure, Kawhi didn't shoot great. Sure, PG didn't shoot great. But consider this. Doc Rivers has spent 7 seasons as a head coach for the Clippers. He's won 3 playoff series. Frank Vogel in L.A. spent 1 season as a head coach for the Lakers. He's won 3 playoff series. What Doc Rivers accomplished in 7 seasons, Frank Vogel accomplished in 1. And don't come here now and say, oh, well, the Lakers have LeBron James. It's the same LeBron James that the Clippers were supposed to dismantle. Why didn't the Clippers even get the opportunity to dismantle LeBron James? They lost to the Nuggets in 7. The same team that Frank Vogel's Lakers beat and dismantled in 5. Gentlemen swept. Here, let me pull out your seat. I'm going to give you a game. Doc Rivers has to go. And I would take it so far as I would be very curious and cautious if he got another job. And here's why. Here's why.
Look at you.
He's blown an NBA record 10 playoff series when up 3-1. When leading, rather. NBA record 5 times with the Clippers. He's lost 3 playoff series when up 3-1, twice with the Clippers. Again, empirical data, statistical data. It has nothing to do with feelings, has everything to do with facts. I think Doc Rivers is one of the greatest men in the NBA. I think he's one of the greatest.
You know you about to kill somebody when you start talking about how good a person they are.
Just like, they got a great heart. They got a great personality. They go to church with me on Sunday. Look, Doc Rivers, great man, great leader, gave an impassioned speech about social justice. I respect the mess out of this man and his worldly acumen.
Okay, so you want to go social justice now. I am Doc Rivers. You know why we can't get ahead, y'all? His brothers like this don't even think I can get another job. That's why I can't get another job because I lost my series.
I'm just talking about. I'm saying, Marcel, if you were there for 7 years and you got 3 playoff series wins, and Frank Vogel came in and did what you aspire to do in the same city that you're trying to take over, brothers like you hoping that he can take over, Frank Vogel does it in year 1, it's not a good look. Like, it's inexcusable. And you honestly said the best thing you said on show is it's easier to fire head coach than it is the players. You already clean house on the players. BG, you gone. DeAndre Jordan, you been gone. CP, you're out of there.
His worst thing is he ain't do any better than Vinny Del Negro. You can't do that. Coming up, Uncle Jimmy joins us to give his thoughts on today's show. You don't want to miss this. Next, can you say Del Negro on TV? That's not racial. Del Negro. Before we go, let's bring in Uncle Jimmy. So what are your thoughts on today's show? Ooh, Gucci bucket hat. Flossy.
Yo, man, the legendary thespian Richard Flair once said that in order to be the man, he must first beat the man.
Gotta beat the man.
And the last time I checked, his name was Patrick Mahomes, the reigning Super Bowl champion. Okay, look here. I'm tired of all this talk about a rivalry. Lamar Jackson, you good. But anything you get ain't nothing but Patrick Mahomes leftover. I'm talking MVP, cover of Madden, Super Bowl. Bottom line, Patrick Mahomes been there, done that. But I think you might get a ring before your career's over. But it ain't gonna be with the Ravens. After you get cut with the Ravens, we'll take you at the Kansas City Chiefs. We seen from last night, Andy Reid's always looking for another gadget player. You can come get a ring with us. How about that?
I ain't nobody trying to hear that. You acting like Patrick Mahomes never lost a game. Like, to beat the man, you got to beat the man. He done lost games before. 4 last year in the regular season, 4 the year before that. Hell, you talking about, Uncle Jimmy?
But you know what?
No, I don't.
I'm going to tell you what. Patrick Mahomes tell him this. You want to beat me. That's what it is. You want to beat me, don't you, Lamar Jackson?
I want to beat him. He got a higher win percentage. Only the unanimous MVP, him and Tom Brady, not Patrick Mahomes.
Lamar Jackson,
his heights
look at
are
me
higher.
in your good eye.
He took it He's took his glasses off for you, Marcel.
I dare you to take that bucket hat off, old man. I dare you to do that. You ain't gonna let it go? Let me see him. Let him go. Oh!
Come on, man.
Red Fox lives.
What you doing? You do it. Come on.
What is happening right there? Right there.
Look good.
Oh, look